Good evening, and this is Chris Frossin. I am walking through my workflow from a recent photo shoot that I did. This was for one of my friends who is going to an interview for a position as a makeup artist. So she wanted to get some of her friends dressed up, do all their makeup for them, showing different styles that she can do, and then we're going to do a little bit of a photo shoot so that she can get a portfolio together, which would be great. I thought I'd help her out. So we got some photographs. We're going to go back out, and we're going to get some more. And basically, what we're going to do now, I'm just going to quickly run through my workflow that I've got set up and do a couple of edits as well. So what we've got, as soon as I got back, I grabbed the memory card out of the D90 that I took the photographs with. Imported them into Lightroom, and if we just go onto here, look, we imported them with some keywords as well. We've got a 50mm 1.8, which is the lens that I used, air hostess, country, we've got headshot, makeup, Nikon and D90, portrait and rock. So the rock, air hostess and country were the styles, along with high fashion as well, were the styles of makeup that we were doing. I need to put high fashion in as a keyword as well on all of these. So they were all imported. This is so there you go. This is all of the photos that we had here. And then what I've started doing, just to help me be a little bit more organised and be able to find my photos as well, I've started to use some collections as well. So I've got a collection set up down here with model shots, and then a collection in it with my friend's name. So we've got 312 photos here. I just dragged them into the collection set here. And what we're going to do, we're just going to quickly run through and show you all the photos that we took and what we were doing, and then we'll go through and we'll show you the picks. So I went through and I've just picked a few, and we're going to edit one or two of those. So let's go. So we've got, this is Natalie here. This is the makeup artist. This is the girl who's going to go for the interview, and she's just starting up on some of the makeup. Thought it'd be great just to get some setup photos just to show her at work. Started popping a flash as well, because we've got some glitter on her face as well, so I thought it'd be great just to get a little bit of reflections on it. And then after that I decided to try and shoot into the window just to try and get the background blown out. So I was playing with the exposure, trying to get the exposure right. You can see pretty much snapped it on the thing there. So we were shooting at ISO 500. This is with my 50mm 1.8. Hopefully this lens will be replaced pretty soon, cross my fingers. I'm going to try and get the 50mm 1.4, but 1/60th of a second at ISO 500 at 1.8. Focused right in here on the eye. Just wait for it to load. It should be crystal clear. ISO 500 is just adding a tiny little bit of noise, and the same. This is pretty much on the same focal plane, so I was quite lucky there that Natalie is also bang in focus. I'm going through, just trying to get a few more of the makeup shots, setup shots. This is the next model. This is Alice. As you can see from her necklace, this is the foundation that's going on. This is going to be a rock chick, as you can see from her hair. So the darker foundation, I'm guessing, is a bit more rock chicky. I'm not into the makeup side of things, so I have no idea. And this is Harriet here. We're going to get. She was a country girl, or a bit of a beat babe. So just getting some flowing hair going, nipping through, but. Wish I'd kind of got a photo of her with her eyes open, but there's not a lot of makeup going on there. Changed and had a snap and didn't change my settings. So there we go, adjusted the settings. This is the wavy beach hair that we're getting. So we'll just run through some of these. There's one trying to get Natalie in the frame as well, Natalie's face. And would have been good if she was working on this eye, so that we can actually see some of the brushwork going on. So we'll fly through some more of these. This is Harriet's hair pretty much finished out. Tried a few artistic shots of her makeup bag, makeup brush, and this is just when we were starting to get some of the eyeshadow and the eyeliner in. As you can see here, blown Natalie out of focus just to bring you straight into the focus, which is on the eye again. Should be crystal sharp. There we go. It actually looks like it's just missed it. Just caught the nail. Excuse me, got hiccups. There we go. Going through again. There we go. Again, sharp on the eye, hopefully. There we go. Sharp on the eye there. And going through again. Great little pout on that one. This is one of my favourite shots. Like I say, we got the look of concentration on Natalie. We've got the ring, which this was how picky I was starting to get. I actually said, hang on a second, can I just change that ring? If we go a few shots back, you'll see that it's hung out to the side. That was just blowing me off. It's my little OCD. I haven't got OCD, but I like things to be looking neat and tidy. So Natalie's looking here, nice and in focus, concentration. And we've just got the brush starting to put on the eyeliner there. Same again, drawing us into the photo, drawing us into the focus, which is this eye here. I'd probably drop in and kind of tighten that one up a little bit. Post-production, I should have probably filled the frame a little bit more with that. And that was the end result. Again, these are all pretty much candids indoors, so the lighting's not particularly great on these ones. Went back to the window just to try to get some. So this is Lizzie. She was going for a high fashion look, so she was getting some absolute fantastic makeup put on. Pursing her lips so we could get the cheekbones done up. And we're doing in her eyebrows, flying through here. And this is shot from outside looking in. I actually quite like all the reflections that you're getting on here. It's kind of adding a little bit of an air of magic and just a different air and different view to it. Love the way that everything's blown out of focus. You've got a few of the reflections actually from the window here which are out of focus, which add to the photo in my opinion. So this one will be sent to Natalie. I'll send this one over to her. That's frustrating me. That was an LED on the telephone, which I might have to Photoshop out, because I do actually like that photo. That's quite smart. Just shoot through again, and then what we've got, popped outside. We started to get some. That was just a test photo to make sure I got the settings right. We're shooting outside. The sun wasn't out at all. It was a grimy day over in England, and 1/800th a second, f1.8. I was shooting at ISO 200, and here we go. So we're getting some poses. This is the first time Alice had done anything like this, so I kind of helped her out a little bit with some of the poses, but she was an absolute natural. She was fantastic at it. Just have a quick look. Starting to get something here. Slightly annoyed that I cut off the top of the guitar there, but we'll carry on. This is the rock chick. Here we go, starting to rock out. She was actually struggling quite a lot if we scanned through. Her heels were going into the ground an awful lot, so trying to get a bit of a back bend in there, rocking out, rocking it. I swapped her over actually because the sun was a little bit better coming down on this side, so you can see that the lighting on her face and the lighting down her clothes is a little bit better on this one. She's got a bit more colour and a bit more contrast, so just swapped it around. Just noticed that as I was shooting, so always keep in mind where you're shooting and where the light's coming from. You've got to be able to see that light. And there we go, so we're getting some slightly better ones. This is exactly the same settings, no reason to change these. That's a great one. Guitar's slightly off, and then just falling over here. There we go, that's that back bend that she was putting in, slight full body. And then just bringing that knee up as well. This is absolutely reflected, that's so blown out. You can look up on the histogram here, that's that spike there. So that's really blown out, that's a bit of a shame. Let's just zoom back out again. Scan through some of these. That's a bit better, so I just dropped the exposure a little bit to make it to account for that. And then we'll probably use some fill just to bring out the details in her body. And then by the time we'd finished that, we'll pop back in. That was just a test shoot. We've got Lizzie here as well, just getting her the eyes and the lips done. And Harriet, the country girl or the beach babe, just popped out. She was actually really nervous as well. Never done anything like this, so just kind of shot a few just to make her feel a little bit better. Got her toes pointed here, so we've got some line down the length of the legs. She had a little bit of a prop just to play with, keep her occupied and thinking about something else. We were trying to get her, let's have a look in here, we're trying to get her chin down and looking at the camera so you can see this lovely jawline here. Working really well, a bit of a smile. Again, this jawline is just making sure it's evident and it's prominent. That's a beautiful photo, I like that one. And then the little chuckle. She did have a lot of fun, I think. So we'll just quickly scan through the rest of these guys. We went back out. I was trying to get some of Harriet spinning around here so we can get some of the hair blowing, but unfortunately I didn't quite get many of these shots. The ones that I did get, the arms are out of the frame, or and the background is not particularly enticing on these. So I think these are pretty much shot. That one's not too bad actually, but yeah, they're not too great on these ones. Scan through. Then we've got Natalie, who is an air hostess. In hindsight on this one, I would have probably tried to get some of the legs put across, so stepping the leg across just to bring that line into the shot. We shot her up against this because if we can crop it right down, it kind of takes away the look that we're just shooting it in front of a house. So that was supposed to be something like an airport lounge. The gravel, slightly frustrating, but obviously if we can just shoot in onto the head, then we can disguise the fact that it's shot out in front of a patio, apart from the reflection. So we'll skate through these as well. Da-da-da-da. This is Lizzie doing her high fashion poses. We've got a couple of cracking ones. We've got her to face the wall. There we go, face the wall, look over her shoulder, really push those shoulders out. And then there's a little pout as well, looking pretty smart. I think that I've actually edited that one already. So, and then what we did, we went to a park nearby, which was some great locations for some rocking out photos. So Alice here brought her guitar, and we got some great photos up against this turquoise door. And it's just absolutely just in the moment here. It's fantastic. Just really did well. I've just scanned through some of these. Ding ding ding. Rocking it out on the in front of the door. That was slightly skewed over. Corrected that straight away on the next one. Again, rocking it out, getting that back bend in, right in close, just so we can make sure that we're seeing the makeup. And then as we scan through a little bit further, zoom out, there we go, scan through a little bit further, we've got that back bend again. She loved doing that back bend. Here we go, so we got a little bit of a prop for her to bite, got her a glove. And this was actually the entrance gate, so rusty entrance gate, perfect for a rock chick, rocking out against a rusty gate with some industrial stuff behind her. Perfect little setting, and we'll probably edit one of these photos at the end as well. There we go. So that's the situation. There's the setup, and then we did want a few more of Harriet. The path in here, I don't think this particularly works, unfortunately. The path in here just completely throws me out. I couldn't find a tree which was in the middle of the grass, to be fair, so we were always going to get things in there. So in which case I just got down and I shot him nice and tight, got the grass in the background, trees down here to lean up against, and that's a great photo. I like that one. If I was going to shoot it again, I probably would have had a flash up here and got a catch light in as well, bit of fill light. There we go, scoot through these. We've got Natalie going down here with her air hostess again, and I think she's got one of her, there we go, just blowing a kiss. Got in there slightly tighter, you can see the lipstick still on her fingers there as well. And the last few from Lizzie. High fashion, silly face, but some of these close-ups, absolutely fantastic. The blue on her eyes really comes out, and where's that one? There it is. That's that one. I've already edited this one, so we might pop through and I'll just show you the edit actually on this one. So we're going to the develop module. We're still using Lightroom 3 here, or 3.5. So what we did here basically, if we go to the history and scoot down, what we were doing is basically just pushing the exposure a little bit, adding a bit of fill and trying to get like a high key image. So pushing the exposure up a little bit. I added quite a bit of fill, so you can see we're adding that fill in here. Didn't add much contrast because obviously if we're pushing the contrast up, we're going to really lose some image quality. So we just pulled that back to where it was, which was around about here. Add a tiny bit of clarity and a bit of vibrance for this blue, because obviously the makeup was the important part. And if we just go into the selections here, we've got an adjustment brush which is on her eyes to really bring out her irises, and we've also got a slight smoothing of the skin just on some of these bits around here, just to soften that skin slightly. If we go into the tone curve, you'll see I've pushed the highlights and I've pushed the lights just to really smooth out and add a nice sheen and a high key kind of look and feel to the photo, and then obviously a little bit of sharpening, and I think there's a tiny bit of a lens. Yeah, there's a post-crop vignette, just a slight post-crop vignette just to hold us into the image, which I don't think, looking at these eyes, I don't think there's any worry that we're going to be drifting away from this image. So what we're going to do, let's just filter these down to the flagged images. There we go. And we're going to see if we can edit. So that's the edit of the high key. Let's see if we can do the rock jig. So let's rock up and edit this one. So this is one we're going to, I want to edit. This is going to be the rock jig one. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can really push the contrast up. Bring out some blacks and add that kind of grungy industrial feel to it. So what we're going to do straight away, we just want to add a little bit of warmth to it. So I'm going to add some colour temperature. We'll check the exposure. Just hold down the Alt key just to check the exposure. You can see that we're all right blown out on the guitar again. It's that bright white guitar. I'm not too worried about that particularly because we can always see how much recovery we can get on that. I don't want to go too far. I don't like going too far on recovery, that'll do. Just held a little bit more detail in there. Let's have a look at the before and the after on that. Yeah, it's just held a tiny bit more detail on that, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so we'll zoom back out again on her. These purple trousers against the turquoise door just look really good. So if we add some contrast in, bam, there we go, fantastic. And we've also got a kind of almost natural vignette as well up at the top of here, but these purple trousers really popping out there. We're going to add a tiny little bit of vibrance as well, add some clarity to really bring out the grunge and the lines in this. Right, so we're going to add some blacks in as well. Hold down the same thing again, hold down the Alt key while we're doing it to make sure we don't, obviously if we go that far then we're adding in too much black, so you can see all those blown out areas on the black, so we don't want to go that far. Let's just add in all the shadows. See, what I'm looking for on here is too much black areas going in places where we've got detail, and I know I want to keep the detail, so that is probably verging on going too far. You've got some shadows down in the, let's just show you, I can't show you because I can't get the cursor down there, but you've got some shadows down in the bottom of the coat and some shadows in the hair, so I'm just going to pull that back to keep the detail, and obviously the shadows, there we go. So we're going to go to 42, look at that, absolutely awesome, absolutely awesome. She's looking hot. Right, add a tiny bit more vibrance to this. Really want this really rich image. I'm possibly thinking we can probably go a little bit more clarity as well. Let's just have a look in here. Brilliant. Let's push the highlights, just add this natural S-curve in. Don't want to go too far on the darks. Just push those darks back up again. There we go. Let's have a look at the before and after. Before and after. Pop. Really pops out, this image. Really pops out. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Let's just see if we can just push the saturation down. Sorry, the luminance down on the aquas. Just see if we can darken that door down a little bit. There we go. And just add some, just lighten those. Fantastic. Just like, see, lightening those trousers a little bit. So just want to lighten the trousers just slightly. Using the HSLs. Let's do some general sharpening. So select an eye, sharpen that eye up, go to about 48. Same thing again, we're going to hold down the Alt key to mask off. We only want to mask, or we only want to sharpen the edge detail, not the texture, so that'll be about there. And I always add 10 noise reduction in. I am going to put a profile correction in because you can see it does actually do something. You can see some vignetting being taken away. So I always put that in because it does seem to help. But then, curiously enough, having taken away that vignetting, I'm going to add a tiny bit back in. There we go. This is really not good. Should have spotted that when I was taking the photograph. So I might have to pop into Photoshop and just remove that. I don't like that being there at all. But what we can do, and what I want to do very quickly, is just drop the exposure so we can add a little bit of vignetting down here. So we're just going to add in, we've got the overlay on, I'm just going to add in a tiny bit of vignetting just around here. Turn the overlay off, and if we can drop that exposure down, there we go, just pull this in at that bottom edge as well. Absolutely loving it. The last little bit, let's just add a tiny little bit of fill. Fantastic. Love it. Love it. So that's our rock chick photograph. And then we might just do one more. Which one should we do? let's do this one here. So do this very, very natural, because we want to keep this. This is going to be a neutral image. So this is going to be just a neutral image. We're doing the makeup, so we're going to add a little bit of warmth just to add some colour to her cheeks. I don't think we need to add any tint. Might just put a tiny bit more pink into it. Check the exposure. Pump the exposure up a tiny bit. There we go. Don't need any recovery. Don't need to touch the fill particularly. That's going to frustrate me. So what we can do on that is I'm just going to do it now. Shall we add it, or shall we darken it or lighten it? If we lighten it, look, and darken it. So what we're going to do, take that back there. Just going to add it, make it a little bit lighter, and then the saturation, we're going to take the blues down. So it's making it a bit more. There we go. That's making it a little bit less evident. I might pop into Photoshop and remove it in a second anyway. Add a slight S-curve into that. Just do these S-curves by feel. Just show you what happens when we go too far. Just kind of lose the detail down there, so we don't want to go too far, but it does add that tiny bit of contrast and pop to it. Just show you that before and after on the S-curve. So there's the S-curve off, there's the S-curve on. Bit of clarity. Push that clarity up, just bring out these hairs. We're going to add a tiny little bit of black, not too much, and a tiny bit of fill as well, just to compensate for that black that we've just popped in. Tiny bit of contrast. This is pretty much how I remember seeing it. We're going to add some sharpening as well, so we'll select. Where are we? Let's select her eye. Sharpen up those. Don't go too far. See, if we go too far, we're starting to sharpen things that we don't want to sharpen, so we just want to sharpen those edges on the eyelashes. Mask off to get the edge detail. Pull that mask back, there we go. And a tiny bit of noise reduction, because you can see the noise in that image. So we're going to push that up. I try and keep the noise below 20 when I'm doing things like this. Enable the profile correction and pop in this vignette again. Very, very subtle. There we go. Love it. Fantastic. Okay, so there are our two edits. We've got our rock chick. Excuse me. We've got the original one here, and then if we just go to the high key one, which I've already done, there's our high fashion high key edit. Okay. I have been asked to do another photo shoot. She wants some more photos of some more styles that she's going to make up. So we're going to probably do the same models or same friends, and that will be in a week or so. Excited about that. I might even have one of my new lenses for then. I'm hoping to get, well, I won't tell you, but I'm hoping to get one or two new lenses for then, and I will have a flash, because I'm now itching to get a flash involved. I mean, this image here, I'm loving this image, but I can't help but think if there was a catch light in the eyes, and just a little bit more fill to kind of compensate, I could just be so much more creative, because I could really blow out or darken that background out just by using a flash. So I'm excited to kind of have a play with a flash. So next photo shoot with these girls, who were absolutely fantastic, had a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. I will do my utmost to get a flash and report back and tell you how I got on with it. So thank you very much, guys. This was one of my first photo shoots. This was for my friend Natalie, who's doing who's got an interview for a position as a makeup artist. So we were just explaining and highlighting some of her skills that she's got in makeup artistry. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. Make sure you check out my blog, which is chrisfrossin.blogspot.com, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more updates. Thank you very much, and I shall see you anon. Take care. Bye bye.